Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. Before we jump in, please make sure to subscribe to the Rugby Obsession YouTube channel and newsletter from the link in the description. Now, I want you to picture the 78th minute of a Rugby World Cup final.
Oh, the pressure cooker.
Exactly. The lungs are burning, the lactic acid is just peaking, and, well, the vision of every single player on that pitch is starting to narrow.
Just pure tunnel vision at that point.
Right. And in those dying moments, you have to ask, why do some of the most gifted attacking teams in the world suddenly fumble a simple pass, while, other teams just seem perfectly comfortable in all that suffocating tension?
It's a great question, and it really comes down to system design.
It does. And today, we are bringing you into a tactical masterclass to answer that exact question. We are looking ahead to the opening test of the rugby's greatest rivalry series at Ellis Park.
Which is going to be massive.
Oh, absolutely massive. Because what is brewing is this huge clash of philosophies between Dave Rennie's All Blacks and Rassie Erasmus's Springboks.
Yeah, it's a fundamental disagreement on how to win at the highest level. I mean, on one side, you have the All Blacks trying to just accelerate the heartbeat of the match.
Right.
And on the other, the Springboks are meticulously trying to dictate the rhythm, slow it down. And the forces we're unpacking today really dive into why the Springboks, even after they actively upgraded their attacking systems, still firmly believe that this physical, grueling grind is the only true way to lift the World Cup trophy.
I really want to get into that Springbok mindset, but to understand why they rely on the grind, we first need to look at the tactical tidal wave they are preparing to face from New Zealand.
The need for speed.
Exactly. The sources lay out Dave Rennie's vision for the All Blacks, and it is aggressive. I mean, he is pushing for a relentlessly up-tempo, high-intensity, multi-phase attacking game.
They don't just want the ball.
No, they want to keep the ball alive through endless phases, stretching the defense until it finally snaps.
And they're actively urging match officials to limit any dead time on the field. That is a really critical detail.
Wait, really? Like actively pushing the refs?
Oh, yeah. They want quick lineouts, fast taps on penalties,
Yeah.
and, scrums formed instantly. They're trying to completely strip away those moments where the opposition can put their hands on their knees and just catch a breath.
Wow.
And Rassie Erasmus himself publicly noted that this high-tempo style isn't some well-kept secret. He pointed out that New Zealand's intentions are glaringly obvious when you just look at the stats and the scoreboards from the All Blacks' last 3 games.
I look at this stylistic clash and it immediately reminds me of basketball.
Okay, how so?
Well, it feels like a fast break team trying to run the floor, going up against a really gritty half-court trap defense.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But when I say half-court trap, I don't mean a defense that just passively sits back. In rugby terms, a half-court trap means using targeted, suffocating line speed to force the opposition into corners.
So trapping them.
Exactly. It means making these dominant, bone-rattling tackles that dictate exactly where the ball goes, turning every single inch of ground into an absolute dogfight.
That analogy perfectly illustrates the contrast, really. If the All Blacks want a track meet, well, the Springboks want an arm wrestle.
A grueling one.
Yeah, and there is a very specific, data-driven reason why Erasmus trusts that arm wrestle approach when the stakes are highest. I mean, just look at the 2023 World Cup in France. The statistics from that tournament are genuinely staggering.
They really are.
South Africa won each of their knockout matches, the quarterfinal, the semifinal, and the ultimate final against the All Blacks by a single point.
A single point. 3 consecutive knockout matches. Let's really think about what that means for you as a player for a second.
It's insane pressure.
Right. That means you are living on a knife's edge, just one mistake away from elimination for 240 minutes of high-stakes rugby. You cannot survive that kind of prolonged tension by accident.
No, absolutely not. You survive it because your system is fundamentally engineered to endure it. Their game plan is built for the tightest, most claustrophobic margins imaginable.
And it worked.
It did. And Erasmus isn't treating 2023 as some anomaly. He actually predicts that the 2027 World Cup in Australia will require that exact same gritty style in the knockout stages.
He's doubling down.
Completely. He firmly believes that when you get to the business end of a tournament, the game inevitably tightens up. The space just disappears. The team that can master the grind is the team that takes the trophy home.
If you're loving this breakdown of rugby tactics, don't forget to subscribe to the Rugby Obsession YouTube channel and newsletter from the link in the description. Now, I do want to challenge this narrative a bit.
Okay.
Because, when a team wins by playing a slower, more physical style, they inevitably draw heavy criticism. The sources mention that the Springboks are facing accusations from pundits of deliberately slowing the game down.
Oh, the time-wasting accusations.
Exactly. The critique here is that they want to stifle the flow, specifically to rely on their traditional strengths, dominant set pieces, immense physical collisions, and, well, a territorial kicking game.
Yeah, the narrative being pushed by these critics is pretty clear. They are arguing that South Africa is actively trying to drain the pace out of the match simply because they can't handle the high-tempo fitness of teams like the All Blacks.
Right. And that is exactly what I want to push back on. I hear this, and I have to ask you, is this deliberate slowing down just a tactical reality of the sport, or is it cynical gamesmanship?
Like, are they just killing the clock?
Yeah, are the Springboks genuinely just trying to kill the clock and avoid playing actual rugby?
It's a completely fair question, and Erasmus tackles it head-on using a rather brilliant philosophical framework, actually.
Sure.
He deconstructs these accusations by talking about the concept of the three truths. He says there's New Zealand's truth, there's the world's truth, and then there's the warhide, which is the African's word for truth.
The warhide.
Right. The warhide represents the undeniable objective reality of what actually happens out there on the pitch, cutting through all the media spin and all the punditry.
Okay, I like the concept of the warhide, but philosophy doesn't win test matches. What actual evidence does he use to back up this ultimate truth?
Well, he points directly to the history books, specifically the last two meetings between these two teams in New Zealand last year.
Right, Auckland and Wellington.
Exactly. The first match was in Auckland, where the All Blacks successfully protected their incredible home record and walked away with the win. But the second match was in Wellington, and in that game, South Africa came out on top.
So how does that prove his point?
Well, Erasmus poses a very direct question to the critics. He asks, were those slow games?
And the obvious answer is no. If you watch those matches, the pace was absolutely frantic.
Exactly. He uses recent high-profile match history to completely rubbish the slowdown narrative. By pointing to Auckland and Wellington, he highlights that South Africa is perfectly capable of engaging in highly dynamic, fiercely contested, fast-paced matches.
They weren't just walking around.
No, they didn't just walk from line-out to line-out in Wellington. They absorbed the pace, but in the crucial moments, they dictated the physical collisions. The warhide is that their game plan is vastly more complex than simply wasting time.
That complexity is exactly what makes this upcoming test at Ellis Park so fascinating, because the sources note that the Springboks are actually evolving.
They really are.
This isn't a team stuck in the mud, refusing to adapt. They deliberately brought Tony Brown into the backroom staff to modernize and improve their attacking systems.
Yes, the Tony Brown effect.
And Erasmus openly admits they are attacking well right now. They're actively adding new, dynamic weapons to their arsenal.
Which is what makes their stubborn reliance on the grind seem almost paradoxical,
How so?
Well, if you are successfully improving your attack and you clearly have the talent to run the ball, why continue to insist that the gritty grind is the only way to win World Cups?
That brings us to the core insight of the entire deep dive, and it is a brilliant realization. We aren't just talking about X's and O's on a whiteboard anymore.
We're talking about the biology.
Exactly, the biology of the athletes. Erasmus points out that it is incredibly difficult to maintain offensive cohesion when your team is under massive, overwhelming pressure.
Think back to that 78th minute of a World Cup final we talked about at the very start.
The lungs burning.
Right. When the pressure is that massive, the body basically starts to betray the tactic. Cortisol and adrenaline are just flooding the system. Players are physically exhausted.
It's survival mode.
It really is. And in those moments, fine motor skills are the very first thing to degrade. A player loses that tiny fraction of a second in their reaction time. They lose a microscopic amount of confidence.
And the whole system wobbles.
Yes. Cohesion breaks down, the timing of a run is off by half a step, and suddenly they're fumbling a ball they would catch 99 times out of 100 in practice.
An expansive, multi-phase attacking game, the exact kind Dave Rennie wants the All Blacks to play, requires absolute precision. You need 15 players moving in perfect harmony.
Which is so hard to do.
And absolute precision is a luxury you simply do not have under ultimate pressure. So what you're saying is the grind isn't a refusal to play attacking rugby. It's a calculated acknowledgement of human limitation.
That is the crucial takeaway right there. Erasmus emphasizes that the grind is a specifically designed fallback system.
A fallback.
Yeah, it acts as a structural safety net to protect the players when the game gets incredibly tight and the stakes are at their absolute highest. It basically removes the immense burden of having to perfectly execute complex, expansive plays when the pressure is just suffocating them.
It is such a calculated balance. I mean, they are building the capacity to play brilliant, expansive rugby under Tony Brown for the first 60 minutes of a match or, say, during the pool stages of a tournament.
But they have an insurance policy.
Exactly. They maintain this reliable arm wrestle system, this gritty fallback ready to deploy the second the match turns into a pressure cooker. Instead of asking a fatigued player to throw a 20-meter cutout pass, they rely on the certainty of the scrum, the physical carry, and the tactical kick.
It is. You have your ideal way of playing, which is expansive and dynamic, and you have your undeniable way of surviving, which is the grind.
What an incredible setup this is for Ellis Park. We want to know what you think about this clash of styles. Do you prefer the All Blacks high-speed attack or the Springboks tactical grind? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments.
And as you think about that, consider this. If Erasmus is right that the 2027 World Cup in Australia will be another one-point grind, it raises an incredibly important question. Can a team ever perfectly execute an up-tempo, multi-phase attacking game under ultimate knockout pressure, or will the grind always be the ultimate fallback for lifting the trophy?
Make sure you subscribe to the Rugby Obsession YouTube channel and newsletter from the link in the description. Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we'll look forward to you listening to our next episode.